This anime seems very wholesome. This is most likely a story about farmers enjoying their life. What the hell is that giant red thing? Oh my god, what? No, please don't eat her. That's his mom. Why are these people dying, and why are these naked giants eating these people? Oh my god, no, what the f is going on? This was my initial reaction to Attack on Titan. The first few episodes, although amazing, were dark and just brutal. I was roughly in 5th grade when watching the show, thinking it would be a very simple one, but well, you see, I was very wrong. The concept of Attack on Titan is certainly an original one, wherein we explore a civilization locked within a series of walls, in danger of being eaten alive by some giant, some smiling behemoths. But it was in the revealing of mysteries and the world that was set up outside of the walls that held Eren Yeager and his friends that the true strength of the series was finally unfolded to us. Leading up to the finale of Attack on Titan, revisiting the entirety of the series was actually pretty hard. I had to reread the manga as well as watch all of the last 4 seasons. But it is a thing I'm willing to do considering I make YouTube videos for fun. Attack on Titan has a special place in my heart, without a doubt. It opened a whole new world of stories I did not expect to really ever exist in this medium. Although it may be hard to digest Pieck's ass, I mean Levi's abs, I mean Mikasa, I mean Attack on Titan's amazing story, I had to go back in time and watch all of AOT before understanding the epic anime series created by Hajime Isayma, which will go down in history as one of the greatest anime franchises ever created, and for a good reason. Titans eat humans, humans kill titans, and that's essentially what the story is about. The genius of Isayama's storytelling is that he knew how to peel back the complicated layers of the world. At a time when teen-led dystopian fiction was at its high, Attack on Titan pulled away from its competition in the early 2010s by offering something truly genuine, something page-turning, something mysterious. Its vision of a technology-stunted human race caged in and terrified by herds of flesh-eating giants has a timeless, almost fairy story quality to it. I think that's why I loved it a lot. The mystery, the fear of the unknown. I had no idea what could happen to any of these characters I invested so much time into. Perhaps one of the best aspects of Attack on Titan has been its surprises, the way it was able to throw in shocking story elements for readers and anime viewers alike, but was never forced and felt almost natural. One of the perfect examples of this was a revelation of Reiner and Bertolt's identity as the Armored and Colossal Titans, those who were responsible for the death of Eren's mom. Instead of having this be a giant occasion, the series instead barely focuses on the event itself, with the scene jumping to different perspectives as Reiner tells the truth to Eren in a fashion that takes place almost off camera. It's moments like this that make the show amazing, and it showed how Isayama's series was able to take big risks, but also attain a high reward for the viewer and the manga reader. The anime in particular makes sure that it glorifies its central heroes, the Survey Corps, whose job is to rid the world of the Titan threat, and that's what we are led to believe. There are stirring speeches from inspirational leaders, scenes spotlighting soldiers' acts of incredible heroism, and a soundtrack that at times feels like a rallying cry for young recruits, but that support to said Survey Corps changes by the beginning of Season 4. For the past 8 years, Attack on Titan has told a relatively straightforward narrative. A seemingly righteous group of soldiers fight against giant man-eating monsters, those who seek to extinguish humanity. But how we define monsters or entities that are capable of destroying humanity has drastically changed. The point in which we change how we define a monster changes at the end of the Battle of Shiganshina. At the cost of almost the entirety of the Survey Corps, Eren's hometown is finally retaken, with Mikasa, Levi, and Hanji alongside with him. They finally return to the family basement that his father had given him the key to. It had been the sole reason why so much blood had been shed since the beginning of the series. It's one of many things that ignited the flame of Eren's anger. In the basement, Eren finally discovers the truth. He learns humanity exists outside the walls, and that their society is far more advanced than the group living on the island. He learns that his people are called Eldians and are hated by the world for their ancient empire and use of Titans to maintain and expand it. To make it even worse for Eren, he learns that the Titans are not some monsters from sort of hell, but human beings turned into Titans by the Marleyans. Here is where we see the greatest shift in Eren's character. The flame that fueled his hate for most of the show reignites once again, but there's a catch. His hate flips from the titans that plagued his homeland to the nation that released them on his people. The elimination of all the titans on the island does not bring Eren to peace as it does his friends. He becomes anxious as he stares across the ocean, burdened with this horrible truth, this horrible knowledge that his father had gifted him with. But it's not a gift, it's a curse. Over the course of the next 4 years, Marley sends more ships, trying to invade the island with little to no success. Eren himself becomes more anxious, isolating himself from everyone. There's this burden he has to carry, but he can't express that properly. While Eren is experiencing a crisis, his friends use this opportunity to try to change the minds of the world. They want to change the idea that they are not monsters the world thinks they are. There's this optimism surrounding these characters, but Eren does not see this that way at all. He sees this conflict very differently. He believes that most Marleyans and the world won't just have been at peace with the people of the island. So the only way he can really do is bring the fight to them, end this battle once and for all. Eren's philosophy is only confirmed by the defectors from Marley who allied with them, explaining Marley's true intentions of invading the island. Already burdened by the inherited memories of his attacked titan, Eren starts to change, eventually taking matters into his own hands and going on his way to infiltrate Marley. While his prejudice of the Marleyans softens somewhat after learning that not all of the people are evil, he still believes that the majority still hate them. Eren is no longer motivated by his emotions like his younger years. He's aware of the severity of what he's going to do and what it will cost him this time. He's not some young kid anymore, and that's the scary part of his character. He has become a monster. He accepts that burden as he drops all delusions of glory or vengeance. He has become more goal-oriented than anything. By the beginning of the Battle of Liberio, the change was pretty much complete and evident to the reader. Eren is now driven. He willingly causes collateral damage when brutally killing Willy Tybur and the High Command. He manipulates the Survey Corps into battle before they would have liked, and though his instincts were correct as Marley had been gathering forces to invade the island, he alienates the people closest to him, treating them like garbage. Eren is proven to be no leader. While he's a good soldier, his desire to fight and kill is what ultimately destroys our hero, our, well, once hero. However, despite these flaws, it fits well with the story. The world of Attack on Titan is very flawed, one filled with flawed characters, making it a perfect match and making a beautiful story. There are so many reasons why I love the show and its complicated yet beautiful story. I could go on and talk about how much I love it, from the action sequences to the soundtrack to the hot characters like Pieck, but you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say all of this is good. So with that being said, let's talk about Season 4, probably the most controversial season in this series. The war between the Eldian race and the nation of Marley spilled out into the world at large, and did so again in the final chapters of the series. This provoked a lot of thought and discussion, primarily because it seemed as Isayma was never afraid to dive into difficult storytelling. So instead of my initial reaction being shocked and dumbfounded by the fact that a lot of people are dying, it's more like a fascination of new characters because themes are presented to us. As well as most of these characters being extremely hot, like Pieck. Sorry, I have a problem. In Season 4, the show shifts its focus in order to display the true scale of this world. In its premiere, The Other Side of the Sea, we're introduced to a new enemy, but it's actually just a group of child Marleyan warriors instead of the usual protagonists. Though this shift may initially be unappealing and all of a sudden, as the episode progresses, viewers find themselves connecting with these new characters and their unfortunate circumstances, as the show consistently draws parallels between the Marleyan warriors and their counterparts of Paradise. After 4 seasons, the adept storytelling and characterization finally come to a climax in episode 5, called Declaration of War. It is here that Attack on Titan reveals its true enemy, the effects of systematic bigotry and its infinite cycle of violence, pain, anger, and hatred. Within 5 episodes, the show introduces viewers to the morally ambiguous nature of war. This is not a two-sided conflict. It's very gray, not black and white. Though the series focuses on the inhabitants of the Paradise Island, any fan of the show has to make sure that they understand all sides of this conflict. While Marlene characters like Gabby at first seem detestable and horrible, her parallels with Eren soon become obvious, as both are blinded by their undying violent hate for those they see as their oppressors, as their enemies. Even our previous alien protagonists find themselves divided over the morality of their actions. The first part of Season 4 will still give viewers a lot to discuss before the end. Through every episode, even those which lack action scenes, the viewer is kept on the edge of their seat. It still remains as exciting and terrifying, but also thought-provoking as ever. Isayma presented a thoughtful story that shows what the medium was capable of doing. Isayma and his story proved itself to be one that could stand the test of time, making this show amazing, beautiful, and most importantly, a masterpiece.